Ladies and gentlemen, after a long week of being gone, we are all back. Well, kind of. This is like the coaching carousel, except with rotational hosts on this show. It's never the same people. Uh, it's me, SKOL Joel. We got Big Lou over there. We got a new guy who has not been on the show yet, Sam O, as you can see by the name title. And then we got Matt, who was on last week and had some horrible predictions, but we're going to get to that later. And yeah. Other Sam, obviously, as can be seen, is not here today. He is not available to film today. I was not able to film last week. I didn't have my computer. That was a whole deal. And yeah, so that's that. Also, this is random, but I just got my flu shot today, so I got a sore arm. Love that.
Just an introduction. Sam O here is my roommate here in college. So, yeah. Big Vikings fan here, too. So,
I just realized my roommate Sam O as well. I didn't put the O part together until now. This is the Matrix, guys. This is so weird.
Oh, funny thing is, we have the same birthday, exact same day.
Yep. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Tell it to us so that the people can comment happy birthday on your birthday.
December 17th.
Write that down.
Isn't that Daniel's birthday too?
Yes, it is. It is Daniel's as well.
Wow. I'm going to send this clip to Daniel and tell him you should be proud I remembered your birthday. All right. Yeah. So with that said, unless anyone has anything major to say now, we can kind of get into it, I think.
No.
All right, right on. We are going to throw up the graphic. Ladies and gentlemen, the Minnesota Vikings played on Thursday Night Football last week, so that would have been 6 days ago now. They dropped the game 34-28 against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Vikings shot themselves in the foot early, and then they were able to kind of have a second half, fourth quarter comeback, but ultimately they did fall up just short. So I feel about every emotion possible after that game. I feel good that they put in a good effort at the end. They almost had a big comeback that would have almost shocked the sports industry because no one really had any hopes on the Vikings winning that game. But I also feel miserable with just how some of the game went. So I guess we can start by going around. Everybody can just share your thoughts. How do you feel emotion-wise after that game? Because I feel everything there possibly is to feel.
You know, it was more of a disappointment that the Vikings couldn't hold on to the ball because they were in it for the longest of time. It just they got killed with all those turnovers, and that's really what killed them at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so 4 turnovers, never ideal. Madison fumbles, need to get that figured out. Jefferson touchdown, whatever the ruling is, whatever you think on it, it was a fumble. Got the ball back. I think this is a game the Vikings probably win by 3 scores if they don't turn the ball over, punch the ball in the end zone. That Jefferson touchdown counts. I mean, that's the difference in the game right there, 34-28. So those are my initial thoughts on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember last week previewing, we were talking about, I mentioned pick your poison. How do you want to try to attack this Eagles offense? Do you want to make them one-dimensional by running the ball or throwing the ball? Well, they weren't throwing the ball great, and then they ground and pounded it. We had 3 down linemen. It just wasn't the recipe to success, I would say. DeAndre Swift ran right through that Vikings defense, and then offensively we just shot ourselves in the foot. So, but I kind of feel a little bit of optimism. You know, the fight at the end shows this team's heart, and for it only being week 2. And there's brighter days ahead. I'm sure of it. And one way to do that is get a big win against another team that's trying to find a win in the Chargers.
Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty safe to say that we all agree that the biggest issue is turnovers. In fact, the Vikings, I believe, had 4 fumbles, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
They also had a 5th one, which is the Madison one that then got called back. But, I mean, it was just brutal watching that left and right. Couldn't hold on to the ball going between players' hands. And I mean, it was the same story week 1 between fumbles, and there was an interception, at least one in week 1. Kirk didn't throw any this week, but they're really going to have to get that cleaned up if they want to come back in this division and really, well, I shouldn't even say that. They're not behind in the division at all, but if they want to have a shot at a potential postseason run, that is really, I think, the biggest issue they have right now is dumb errors like that. Fumbles, interceptions, penalties. So that's something they're really going to have to get cleaned up.
Yep. I do got to give the Vikings a little bit of credit, though. they have not had a ton of penalties recently. They've had definitely less than they did last year, which is definitely a positive. But yeah, the turnovers is really what's killing them.
We've seen glimpses of what this offense can be, man. I mean, especially, Kirk's thrown for over 300 yards, but we've seen that more consistency. I mean, you look at the second quarter of the Bucks game, that offense was rolling. I mean, you couldn't stop them. Then they just stopped coming out flat, man. I mean, if this offense is at its best, it's probably the best offense in the NFL, up there with the Chiefs, probably. So that consistency is key, man, especially going forward. And then that defense, obviously, the Eagles, their run game, it's always kind of a dynamic, kind of unorthodox run game with, they do rotate multiple running backs. They got a solid O-line. Even like you got to account for Jalen Hurts as a runner. Obviously, we've been seeing him run the ball efficiently as well ever since his college days. So that's always a tall task. There was times the Vikings did good at stopping it. There was times when they couldn't stop it. And ultimately, you let the Eagles run the ball all over you like they did in that game, they're going to win. Plain and simple.
Vikings to unleash another crucial element to get this offense to that next level is opening up the run game. That hasn't happened in the first two games. Madison has obviously struggled. Bringing in a guy like Dalton Reisner can maybe help the O-line issues with all those injuries. It's really just kind of a wait and see. You can't really judge anything until you see what they do next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I believe Madison had, was it 28 rush yards, if I'm not mistaken? I could be wrong there.
I don't remember. It was not.
He had 28, yeah. 8 carries, 28 yards.
That is just not good for the run game. I mean, the Vikings pass game is phenomenal. You got to give them that. But we also need that run game in there that we can kind of keep the defense from dropping so many back and covering that pass. So if we can get a solid or even a mid run game in there, that opens up a lot more for the Vikings, and they can be way more successful, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alexander Madison, like you just said, he had 8 carries for 28 yards. Ty Chandler had 1 carry, 0 yards, and that was it. So total, they had 9 carries, 28 yards, and that was it on the ground. Everything else was done with passing. But I do actually want to bring up the passing game because it did look pretty dang good. But obviously it would be great if they can spread the ball around. But Kirk Cousins, 31 for 44, 364 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had a passer rating of 125.6. Very good day passing for Kirk Cousins. And I could get into the receivers, but I'll let you guys, if you guys want to talk about Kirk Cousins, you can, because I'm going to get into Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson next. But overall, just a fantastic day from Kirk Cousins, even despite the loss.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Kirk throughout his career with the Vikings, and, this was one of the best games I've ever seen him play in his career. He's had some phenomenal games, especially last year. 2020 comes to mind. But the problem with Kirk has always been his consistency. He'll have these games where he throws for 350 yards, 3-4 touchdowns, and then there'll be games where he just throws a dud. He'll go out 150 yards, touchdown, 1 to 2 interceptions. So, if Kirk keeps this up the whole year, I think there's a pretty damn good chance that he could be an MVP candidate. And, but yeah, we've seen this before, and he's got to stop. He's got to be more consistent, and can't keep bringing out these games where he just throws a dud, is what I call it.
Yeah, I gotta agree that Kirk Cousins, you get his stats look phenomenal. Overall, they look very good. Up with the top, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, they're up there. But when you really look at his play, it's not phenomenal. He can't. Yeah, the consistency is really one thing that Eddie's saying. The consistency is not constant with him, and in those clutch situations, he's not always able to make the right decision, which can cost us the game sometimes.
Kirk Cousins right now is second in the league in passing yards and is on pace for 6,000 yards passing, 51 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and an 0-17 record. But Kirk Cousins, we talk about trying to make the offense a little bit better, going off of what Big Lou said. If you can't run the ball, you're going to drop everyone into coverage. So just going to the run more than 9 times, show the defense that you're going to do it, which can then set up play action. We'll bring the safeties up so the deep shots are there and give you those nice one-on-ones with Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. there are brighter days ahead. I truly believe it.
Yeah. So we just got done talking about Kirk Cousins, and I know there's been a lot of talk about him, and I hope all the audience and Vikings fans don't hate me for bringing this notion up. But the New York Jets are in need of a quarterback. If I want to ask you guys, not saying I would do it, but if the New York Jets called right now and they said they were interested in Kirk Cousins, would you pick up the phone and at least talk to them about it? Because I would.
See, I would have the conversation with them about it just to see kind of what we could get. I mean, if it's a phenomenal deal, I mean, it might screw us the rest of this year because I don't know if our backups could handle this, but yeah, I think it'd be worth the talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd pick up the phone, but I'd be like, you're giving me 2 first-round picks at least. I don't know, like a C.J. Mosley or a Quinnen Williams or something. I mean, it would take a lot, and for someone who's on the final year of his contract and getting up into his mid to late 30s, I don't think the Jets would accept the offer that I would give them. But hey, they want to give me 2 first-round picks and a solid defensive piece like on the D line or a linebacker. I think I'd consider doing it. But other than that, I mean, you offer me like a 3rd or 4th round pick, which is what I assume they'd offer. I'd say no, just hang up the phone right there.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't consider myself a Kirk hater. I'm not at all. But I just have the idea in mind. This regime seems pretty intent on the fact that more than likely they're probably not going to extend him. They've made it not clear with their words, but they've made it clear with their actions that they're not interested in continuing to be married to Kirk Cousins long term with this organization. So with that said, if he doesn't come back after this season under contract, I would at least consider it for any value. Obviously, you need enough value to be able to do something like that. But if they offered me a 1st or 2nd, then I would consider it because, again, he has a void year on his contract, so he's not eligible for a compensatory pick. So I would at least consider it. Not saying I'd do it, but I would think about something like that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. But, I mean, also, just because this team's 0-2 doesn't mean they're not going to poise that they could make a playoff run. And if you trade Kirk Cousins, you basically are saying, hey, we're basically giving up, the tank for Caleb Williams start or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't see with the Vikings having like the kind of the growing talent and like the new defense and the fairly strong offense, I don't see the Vikings tanking because they have the potential that maybe they could get into the playoffs, if not win a game in playoffs. So I don't see the Vikings ever tanking this season, or unless they go through a ton of injuries. But
they wouldn't tank. This ownership wouldn't let them tank.
No, absolutely.
The quarterback class in the 2024 class is one of the best we've seen in recent memory in terms of depth. Obviously, Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, Shadur Sanders. So even if you were competitive and you ended up middle of the road, 9-8, and you slot yourself in the middle of the pack, you can get a good quarterback in the draft. And that's something I think the Vikings understand.
Absolutely. And really, the Vikings, I mean, there's a couple other teams that are getting to the point where they need a good new quarterback, but the Vikings are probably close to the top of the list there because there's a lot of teams that already have that franchise quarterback for the next few years already. So I don't know if the quarterback market's going to be super competitive next year.
I mean, the options if they decide to move on from Kirk, which, I think unless Kirk basically wins the MVP, I think this is his last season in purple, unless he literally plays so good that he basically gives the Vikings no option that you have to give him another contract. I mean, we could see the Vikings do something like maybe what the Commanders are doing right now and giving their 5th round pick, Jaron Hall, a chance like the Commanders are doing with Sam Howell. So, I mean, that could be another possible thing they do if they really do put all their faith in Jaron Hall or something like that, or maybe spend a 2nd or 3rd round pick on a quarterback if there is nothing there in the 1st round. So the options are endless. I mean, you could trade up in the 1st round. You probably have to give up a lot, but maybe trade up to 2 or 3 and pick up a Drake Maye. I mean, options are endless for the Vikings if they decide to move on from Kirk Cousins.
I mean, there was kind of talk about them doing that last year for Anthony Richardson, whether they actually made the phone call to get into the top 10, but I know there was steam behind something like that happening. So it's not out of the picture that they would do something like this.
Yeah.
With that said, I was going to address the two top receivers on this team, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Justin Jefferson, so far this season, has had 20 receptions on 25 targets, 309 yards. He's still without a touchdown. But as of right now, he's on pace for 2,626 yards. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but that's absolutely an absurd number.
He is he's the number one receiving yards, right? Because Tyreek Hill had a bad week last week, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Honestly, couldn't tell you, but I can look.
He is number one right now, and then behind him is that Rams rookie whose name I can never pronounce.
Puka, whatever. Yeah.
So he is second behind him, but
Is this pronounced Puka? Anyone know?
I believe it is Puka.
It's Puka.
That's right. It's
Puka. How do you pronounce the last
I'm
name?
not even going to attempt it.
What I think it was a 5th round pick he was this year or something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out by next week's episode. We'll figure out how to say his name.
Yeah. Yeah, don't
That'll
ask
be our
me to
homework.
say it.
The other person I was going to bring up was Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison, he had the long touchdown catch yet again this week. So far, Jordan Addison, 7 receptions, 133 yards this season, and he's got 2 touchdowns. He is on pace right now for 1,100 yards. Just imagine a Justin Jefferson season coupled with an 1,100-yard season from Jordan Addison. You can't wish for any more than that.
You can't forget Hawkinson in there too, though.
Yeah,
he's getting receptions and yardage too.
Yeah, they got just so many names that if they're not a top 5 scoring offense by the end of the season, I would be genuinely surprised by that.
Well, as long as we keep the turnovers down, I believe we will be. But if we keep having those turnovers, it's going to be a rough season.
Mm-hmm. With that said, I don't have any more, unless anyone else has anything on offense. I was going to move a little bit to the defense and talk about the defense as kind of a general standpoint.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect. With that said, we're going to look at the defense. So the defense led up 34 points against the Eagles this week. Jalen Hurts went 18 for 23, passed for 193 yards, 1 touchdown, also had 1 interception. He had a passer rating of 98, but only a QBR of 44.7. Rushing-wise, hold on. I hope you couldn't hear that. I had an ad on my computer on ESPN. That's kind of funny. Rushing-wise, though, Jalen Hurts, 12 carries, 35 yards, but he also did have 2 touchdowns, but they were both on the sneaks that the Eagles are just so good at doing. But overall, just watching the game, I just think the Vikings did a really good job of maintaining this high-octane Eagles passing and rushing offense that they have. So I couldn't have honestly asked for anything more from them.
You know, the passing defense was incredible. We kept them from throwing they had 1 long bomb over heads, but that was really it. I mean, they're running with that 3 front there and just the pure size that the Eagles have on the O-line. For us, it's almost impossible to stop that run. I mean, I think what I was seeing is they had like 163 rushing yards or something. I could be wrong there.
I can look. I got it up right here. 193.
Oh, 93? Okay.
But Swift was 171.
Okay.
He was on my bench.
Oh, yeah, he was on my bench too in one of my leagues. But yeah, you know, you kind of got to take your losses there. You kept the pass, but you gave up the run there. Vikings had a chance there. This really good. And another thing, they got killed on time of possession too, which probably is with the turnovers there. But I think it was like Eagles had almost double the possession time as the Vikings. But
yeah, I was going to say that just the run defense last year was bad. This game was also pretty bad too, I guess. When I meant it was a good defense, I thought the passing defense, because that's what you notice. Yeah, there was a period during the game where the rush defense was just kind of like, why doesn't Philly just keep handing the ball off every play because it's working? And so that was that. But we didn't know about the corner depth, so the passing game was definitely a question. But with the players they have this season, I think they've done a great job. I don't have any specific stats up, but I know Byron Murphy had a really, really good game. He only got targeted twice, I believe, and only gave up 1 catch for like 7 yards, I think. if I remember correctly. So I couldn't ask anything more out of the corners for the most part.
Yeah, and that cornerback room is super, super young. So, that's a group. This whole defense is young in general. I mean, this group is just it's gonna continue to grow, get better. I mean, you see Mekhi Blackman out there starting. You see Caleb Williams, third or fourth round pick from last year. Ivan Pace, undrafted rookie free agent. That was a phenomenal signing. I thought he was going to be like a fourth round pick at least, but so the Vikings getting him undrafted was a steal. You got Bynum out there, who's in year 3 or 4. Josh Metellus is only getting better. So you got some older guys out there, but a lot of younger guys, and I think this defense is just going to continue to get better as the season goes on. You just kind of throw these young guys out there, and they're going to get, obviously, early in the season, not going to do the best because they're younger, still getting used to the NFL. But as the season goes on, this defense is just going to get better and better, especially when you have a defensive coordinator like Flores. And I thought they played great against the Eagles, trying to contain this offense. I mean, this offense is a very good offense, and they are very unorthodox in the modern NFL game. So 34 points is a lot, but when you look at, turnovers, giving them the short fields, stuff like that, I thought this defense played phenomenal.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, I think the Vikings were just okay with the Eagles running it, so they wouldn't have as many possessions, even if that meant almost doubling us in time of possession. I think the Vikings rush defense is better than that. If they change their scheme instead of 3 down linemen, you can maybe stop the run, but I just don't think they wanted to give those corners troubles on islands with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And A.J. Brown was obviously frustrated. He wasn't getting the ball. You got to do what you got to do to win a game. Yeah. So I think that'll be the worst performance, I guess, run defense-wise, the Vikings give up this year. That would be a prediction I have.
Yeah. I do got to give the young cornerbacks and secondary some credit, though, that they were able to contain the pass with how young they are, especially against a veteran team like the Eagles. And overall, the defense I was okay with this week.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, you guys did just talk about time of possession. I have it right here. The Eagles had the ball for 39 minutes and 28. The Vikings had it for 20 and 32. So it was just about a 66-33 split right there. So obviously not good, but when you turn the ball over 4 times, something like that is bound to happen. And like we said, with the 193 rush yards, that'll wear it down. So with that said, unless you guys have anything else, I'm ready to move on to a brief look ahead to next week.
Yeah. All right,
let's do that, folks. So we got the 0-2 Los Angeles Chargers coming into Minneapolis to face the 0-2 Minnesota Vikings. Both teams obviously hungry for their first win. Hopefully the Vikings can win because I actually won't even be watching this game. I have to be training for the new job I have here during the time of the game, so I won't be watching.
I will be gone as well, so I won't really be able to watch it either.
So they'll play better because we're not watching.
Probably.
Yeah.
We'll see. So, I think this game is really just going to come down to which team is hungrier for a win more and which team is better coached, I think, is going to have to do with this one too. I think Kevin O'Connell has been out-coached the first 2 games, and I think it's fair to say among a lot of people that agree with that too, that well, maybe not, but I thought that compared to last year, he just didn't do his best job week 1 for sure, and maybe this week 2 was not the best either, but I guess we'll just have to see him against Brandon Staley here in LA.
I really think the Vikings should be able to pull us off, especially with it being at home and just the Vikings really wanting that. And they've been getting better as the first game was rough. The second game was definitely a little bit better. And this one I think will be even better than those first 2. And I definitely think if the offense can clean up at even just 1 or 2 of those turnovers, the Vikings should be able to run away with this.
Yeah, kind of building off that. So first off, I think the Chargers defense sets up really nicely for the Vikings as they have been giving up a lot of passing yards this year. Not that fantasy matters a ton, but I have noted they did say that the Chargers defense has given up the most fantasy points to receivers. So that kind of speaks to what the Chargers pass defense is like. It's not the best. And then especially if you can get that running game going with Madison, even if you're just getting consistently 3-4 yards a carry. That should be able to set up the pass, wear down that defense. As for their offense goes, obviously Herbert's a phenomenal quarterback. He's going to try to throw the ball around a little more than I think the Eagles did because he can. And then obviously Austin Eckler is phenomenal too. So they're also going to run the ball. So they are kind of two-dimensional in the fact that you kind of do have to try to shut both of those aspects down. And, you have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Keenan Allen's obviously older, but he's still got some football left in him. So these corners are going to be a little challenged. I think the safeties are going to have to step up, and then the D-line is also going to have to step up. But I think if we minimize turnovers and this defense plays like they did last week, I think we should have no problem winning this game.
If I remember correctly, Austin Eckler didn't play last week.
He did not.
So that could be really important if he doesn't this week also, considering this Vikings run defense that we saw last week. Maybe that could
it also says he didn't practice Wednesday. So
okay. So
he's questionable.
Yeah.
So it could be a one-dimensional offense for the Chargers here.
Yes.
Yeah, Chargers didn't run it well last week against Tennessee without Eckler. Eckler just brings so much. He's so versatile. Obviously sparking that run game, a weapon in the pass game. I think this is a must-win game for the Vikings. It's only week 3, but you got to start building some momentum because after this you go to Carolina. It'd be nice to have a 2-game winning streak before you host the
Chiefs.
I mean, it's just I feel this is a must-win game.
They can't fall to 0-3 or that.
No.
It'll be really tough.
No, it's the Vikings.
Gets more difficult.
If the Vikings fall to 0-3, I have a feeling we may not even scratch 500.
Then would you pick up the phone on Kirk Cousins if they fall to 0-3?
Nope.
Well, you'd pick up the phone and just hear the option.
Okay.
But if it's not good enough, you hang it up.
All right.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, and there's a stat out there I believe it's 98 or 99 teams have started the season 0-3 since like 2000, I think, something like that. And there's been one of them that have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So this is really a must-win game for the Vikings, but also the Chargers. So I think we're going to get the Chargers' best, and ideally the Chargers are going to get our best, hopefully.
I believe I saw a stat. The last 0-2 team to make the playoffs was the Bengals like 3 years ago, and Burrow's like second year.
Bengals were 0-2 last year and went to the AFC Championship game.
Oh, maybe that's the stat I saw then. But
I mean, it's possible, but you just don't want to fall to 0-3.
Yeah. Anyone else got any thoughts on this game? All right. With that said, we are going to throw this up and we are going to head into the predictions and then the game picks. So let me share my screen, everybody. You should be able to see it. Is that correct?
I see it.
Yep.
Perfect. So with that said, you can see we got me, we got Sam Z, who is not here today, but Sam O is taking his place with his predictions, Big Lou, and then Matt will be the listener, but he doesn't have the spreadsheet access, so I'll type it in for him. So with that said, only one came off the board. I said Byron Murphy will have the Vikings' first interception this regular season. That was wrong. It was Theo Jackson. Who would have thought it was Theo Jackson?
Theo Jackson.
I would have thought it was Lewis Cine before Theo Jackson, to be honest.
Yeah, but it sounds like they're starting to like Theo Jackson more than Cine. It sounds like he's kind of taking that spot as the 4th or 5th safety on the team.
I will continue to defend the fact that I said Lewis Cine is a bust. I'm going to defend that with my life. I still believe it. Whether other people agree or not.
I mean, it is kind of starting to look like that. So we'll see.
He's in his second season. He's like the number 5 safety. That's kind of a problem when you were a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, we're going to head over here, take a look at our records over here. Sam is 4 for 13. I am 3 for 14. Big Lou, 3 for 11. And the only listener prediction ever was by Matt, and it was correct. It was the cover athlete will be Josh Allen, and it was. So he's riding a 100%, but that will not last long because it's Matt.
I mean, actually I'm going to try this week.
All right. I think we can go left to right here, so I'm going to kick us off. My first prediction says that the Minnesota Vikings will turn the ball over at least twice against the Chargers. I didn't want to put that on there, but it is true. I've seen how they played week 1. I saw how they played last week. It'd be obviously fantastic if they could fix it, but the writing is on the wall. It's going to happen again. I just have the feeling.
I hope you're wrong, Joel, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
Will one of those turnovers be a Madison fumble?
More than likely.
Yes.
We'll see. Probably.
All right, we'll head over to Sam, who is filling in for Sam.
All right, so my first prediction on the week is that Washington will continue their hot start, beating the Bills and moving to 3-0. So, I like Sam Howell. I like what he's done the past couple weeks. I think they were really putting a beating on the Broncos. Broncos kind of had a comeback. The fluke Hail Mary happened. But I think this is still a pretty good football team. That defensive front is phenomenal. Brian Robinson has looked good so far this year, and I think it's going to be a close game. I think there might be quite a bit of offense in this game, but I think the Commanders will pull it out, being at home.
All right. Oh, do I have to do is that my job to do this?
Yeah, we're a bit back.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me that earlier. Sorry. I forgot about it. All right, we'll head over to Big Blue.
All right. My next prediction is a little controversial here, but my prediction is Justin Jefferson will be traded before the end of the 2024 draft.
That is very controversial, Big Blue.
Very.
Can I just put a red over that right now?
You probably could. I would doubt we do it, but
never say never.
I know with the contract not being made, you wonder, are we going to try trading Jefferson to get one of those top picks and get a quarterback?
Nope.
Or what?
They would be 300 times more likely to trade Kirk Cousins before the trade deadline than Justin Jefferson at all.
Yeah,
I get that, but where's the contract extension with him right now? Though?
I'd rather have Jaron Hall starting at quarterback, keeping Jefferson with this.
Yeah, I think everyone would.
Caleb Williams and Jefferson gone. So
I agree
that's
with
my thoughts.
There's talk about it.
I mean, Big Lou, that prediction is Justin Fields Madden cover level bad.
I think it's arguably worse.
I think it's worse, and I didn't think that was possible. All right.
You know, when it hits, I'll pull up this clip for you.
The Justin Fields cover athlete. Wait, that was you, Big Lou, right?
No, that was Sam.
Okay.
Other Sam.
Big Lou, who did you say?
Jefferson.
Oh, okay. That makes significantly more sense.
You want? I'm not even gonna discuss that. That's a terrible pick. That's a terrible prediction. But mine is not any better. Netflix's quarterbacks had trouble finding guys to do the show. I have a guy in mind that I think will be on the show, and it's Ryan Tannehill. Now, he's not the greatest quarterback, but I guarantee you he has a life story that I guess people would want to watch. He plays for the Titans. See how he hands the ball off to Derrick Henry. It's a nice job he has. So that's my prediction. Ryan Tannehill will be on season 2 of quarterback.
All righty. All right, we're good. There we go. All right, back over to me. My second prediction is that Dalton Reisner will be starting at left guard week 4 for the Vikings. He will not be starting this week. I think they're going to take out Ezra. No, I said that wrong. They're going to take out Ed Ingram. They're going to slide Ezra from left to right. Right is actually his natural side. And Dalton Reisner, who's only ever played left guard in his career, will be starting left guard in week 4 against the Carolina Panthers.
That's probably right. I would not be surprised if we saw him in some this week 3, but
possible.
Yeah, I don't think he'll start.
I mean, it sounds like KOC did say it sounds like they're going to be using him as a depth piece, but Ingram has struggled. I thought he played better against the Eagles.
He didn't punch the ball out, so that's a plus.
Yes. But, if he struggles this week, I would not be shocked. Maybe he doesn't start against the Panthers, but if he struggles this week, maybe struggles again next week, we could see Reisner. I don't know. I've been defending Ingram a lot just because he is young, and I still think there's some potential there. But, the leash, I believe, is starting to shorten on him, and if he does keep playing bad, I could see them putting Reisner in.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sam O, you are up next.
My next prediction is that the Chiefs will beat the Bears by at least 20 points. The Bears, I believe, might be the worst team in football this year, giving the Cardinals a run for their money. And I just don't see any way the Bears even keep this game relatively close. I would not be shocked if they win by even 30 plus.
This is why it's ludicrous that Sam originally, not you, Sam, other Sam said Justin Fields will be the cover athlete.
Yeah.
I just can't get over it.
Yeah.
That's a terrible. His prediction was awful.
Joel, I want you to take. What do you think the Bears' overall record's going to be?
No more than 3 wins.
Yeah. All right.
Honestly, a prediction.
Well, actually, no. I might take. Well, the Packer game was close for a bit, and then they gave up. Probably because Ryan Poles is telling him to tank. Actually, I'm gonna say they have. If you're a Bears fan watching this, don't hate me, or do. Actually, I don't really care, to be honest. I'm gonna give them 4 wins this year. I don't know their schedule though, so
that's really generous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them at 4.
Honestly, by the time the Cardinals and the Bears play, I think it's week 17. Will any of them have a win?
That is going to be the biggest tank fest game I've ever seen in my life.
It's the toilet bowl.
Yes, sir. Toilet bowl.
All right. For my next prediction, it's a bit of a stretch, but the Vikings will have 4 or less turnovers in the next 3 games.
Mm. We'll see about that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one there.
I think they'll put an emphasis on ball security and really not trying to turn the ball over as they should have in the first 2 weeks. But I think this week especially, really tell Madison to cover that thing up. And if he starts fumbling more, I mean, maybe we see a little more Ty Chandler, which I'm not necessarily against.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The more I think about it, that's actually a good prediction. But, my boy Kirk Cousins will have none of those turnovers because he is good holding onto the ball. My second prediction has to do with one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL, Trevor Lawrence. Special player for the Jaguars in year 3. Really turned that team around. Him and Doug Peterson. They kind of laid an egg last weekend in Jacksonville. They're playing the Texans. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to make a statement game. He's going to have over 300 yards passing.
All right. I'll just type that in later. I'll remember. Otherwise, I can look back too. All right. With that said, I'll head over to me as we kick off the third and final round. Mine is similar to what Sam O just said. The Dallas Cowboys will beat the Arizona Cardinals by at least 17 this week. It's going to be a blowout.
Yep.
Nothing more I thought about saying. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, outscoring 70-10. And
actually, we're going to switch it to 20. 20 was what I was originally going to say, but then I went to 17. We're going back to 20.
Same here.
All right. This pick is the one I am most confident in. And it's that Kirk Cousins will throw for 300-plus yards again for the 3rd straight week. And the Vikings will beat the Chargers to pick up their first win of this season. So as I said, that Chargers secondary is questionable at best. So I think Kirk's going to have a field day with throwing no to him. And I would not be shocked if we see Addison and Jefferson both go over 100 yards. And even Hawkinson maybe has 65, 70 yards, and Osborne having quite a few yards as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty good prediction. And let's just hope it hits because Vikings could use the win and the yards too. But all right, for my third prediction, it's the Vikings point differential this season will be between -13 and +17. Last year it was -3 on a 13-4 record. This year they should be able to score more, and hopefully the defense can hold them to less.
All right, perfect.
I was struggling coming up with a third prediction, but thankfully Big Lou provided me my third prediction. Justin Jefferson will not be traded before the 2024 draft.
I love that.
And he will sign that extension in the offseason.
Should I add that too?
Yeah.
All right, I'll add that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we can keep it moving along. So with that said, we are going to whip through our game predictions. Last week, Matt did terrible for me. Anything you'd like to say? He went 8 for 16.
It's
I remember right.
50%. 50%.
Yeah, they both went 11. I think.
Okay, Big
That's
Lou's
I remember when
not
I
having
counted
that
this.
type of performance ever again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you had 8. I can count here. That was sad.
You
All right,
trusted me with your picks, so
with that said,
that's
we
on
have
you.
got a lot of categories. You can see we got Sam Z, who obviously you know is not here today, but he already inputted them, so we blacked them out, and we will reveal them with ours. We got Big Lou, me, Matt, and Sam O. So with that said, we got the Giants and the Niners on Thursday Night Football. I'm gonna just kick it off. Give me the Niners. Should be probably unanimous here.
Oh yeah, give me the Niners here.
Taking San Francisco as well.
I figured.
San Fran.
And Sam also went with San Fran, unsurprisingly. All right, we got the New Orleans Saints coming into Green Bay to face the Packers. This could actually be a pretty interesting game. I've taken the Packers 3 times now. They're 1-1 this year. Give me the Packers again. Jordan Love actually looks pretty good, I do have to admit.
All right, I say I was thinking the Saints, but the fact that it's in Green Bay, give me the Packers.
Saints have won both their games by 1 score. I think they finally break through this week. Give me the Saints.
Give me Green Bay.
All right. Sam also, he went with New Orleans. Interesting one there. This could be an interesting game, too. We got the Atlanta Falcons coming off of a win against the Packers, against the 1-1 Detroit Lions. It's at home. Give me the Lions. I buy the Lions hype, if you guys can't tell. So give me Detroit.
You know, I definitely think there is the Lions hype, and they're going to be probably a playoff team this year. But give me the Falcons here.
This is like a 50-50 game for me. Could go either way.
Yeah.
I think the Lions are the best team the Falcons have played so far. Give me Detroit.
I'll take Detroit as well.
All right. He went with Detroit. We got the Bills and Washington. Contrary to Sam over there, give me Buffalo. They just beat the Raiders by like, what, 30 something, maybe even more. It was like 40 to
38-10.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Joel. The Bills are just a good team all around, so give me Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously, with my prediction, I'm going to stick with Washington.
I like the upset pick there.
Josh Allen's going to have a field day. Give me Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. I know this is really random, but what do you guys think about the Browns jerseys they pulled up with Monday night?
I just clean.
I just thought of it right now. That's why I thought they looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Not as good as the Bengals white helmets, but I liked them.
I agree. They're both really, really good though. Love both.
I don't think you'll find a team here upcoming that can beat the Bengals white uniforms there, those white helmets.
All right, we got Trevor Lawrence and the Jags hosting CJ Stroud and the Texans. Give me Jacksonville.
Is this even a question here? The Texans are sucking. Give me the Jacksonville.
Okay, Matt last week. Let's look at this, guys. Matt made his predictions for me. Wait, where was it? Why can't I find it? Oh, here it is. He took the Texans over the Colts and Anthony Richardson. I texted him about 5 different times on Sunday, said that was a terrible pick.
I said CJ Stroud would outplay Anthony Richardson, literally and figuratively. He did.
Guess what, though? It's not just about the player. It's about the team.
Analysis matters.
The Texans are terrible in pretty much every way, shape, and form.
I could have said Justin Fields was a Madden cover, so show your face.
Okay, that's true. But you're still way wrong.
You're up, aren't you?
Oh. No, I said Jags.
Oh, you got the
Jags. Yeah, I got the Jags.
Perfect.
I don't think the Texans are as bad as they were last year. I am a diehard Michigan Wolverines fan, but I loved CJ Stroud coming out of Ohio State. I think he's going to be phenomenal. That being said, give me the Jaguars.
Jacksonville. I'm not making that mistake again.
All right. Well, we got our first sweep across the board. All right. We got the Titans and the Browns. The Browns barely lost to the Steelers this week. The Broncos almost had that super epic comeback. Oh, this is actually kind of Oh wait, I was.
Can I
We're
just
talking
interrupt
about-
you there
we're
and
talking
point
about
out the
that's-
fact?
I looked
completely
at the wrong
different
game.
games.
I looked at the wrong game.
Can I interrupt you there and point out
Yes.
the fact that Sam spelled Jacksonville GAC?
I think I've done both here. I'm gonna correct him though. I feel like I've done. Oh, I did up there.
Have you? Oh,
Wait, you guys are the ones that did that though, not me. So that was
Sam
you
did
guys.
that up there.
Okay, so that was him. What about week 1? Because week
Week
1
one?
is when I did it. Did anyone even take the Jags? Oh,
Oh,
We're
you
just
did
gonna-
do it up there then.
we're just gonna ignore that. Sorry, guys. All right, we got the Broncos and the Dolphins. Give me the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah,
And
I think-
send the Broncos to 0-3.
The Dolphins just have too dominant of an offense for the.
Me and Big Lou pick the same team every time
Excuse
so
me.
far.
I think the Broncos will.
No, not week or not the Falcons Lions game.
Oh, yeah. We've
I
had
think-
one different one out of like 6.
I think the Broncos are going to keep this game close. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect, but I think the Dolphins are going to be too much for them. Give me the Dolphins.
Yeah, give me Miami, even with Jalen Waddle or not.
All right. With that said, we have the game I just said, but then I said the wrong one. Titans and Browns. The Titans had the overtime win against the Chargers this past week. The Browns played on Monday night and barely lost to the Steelers. Give me the Cleveland Browns at home here.
You know, Joel, we got another pick that's the same. Give me the Cleveland Browns here.
I feel like I've only taken home teams so far. But I don't want to study that far into it.
I don't know. We're going to see how the Browns look without Nick Chubb. I think they're going to struggle just at being the first week, so I like the Titans in this game. But I think the Browns will be fine without Chubb in the long run.
They got Kareem Hunt, though.
They-
Say what you want about him.
Yeah.
It is actually kind of a tough now. It is a little bit of a toss up. Give me the Browns because they're at home.
I'm predicting right now that Sam took the Titans. Okay, I was wrong. Too bad that doesn't count for anything. All right, we got the Pats and the Jets. Give me the Patriots. That's what I'm going to say. Give me the Patriots.
You
They're not
know,
going to start 0-3 under Bill Belichick.
the Jets built a pretty good team, and they had Aaron Rodgers there. They kind of were buying out. So I think the Jets are going to pull it off here, even without Rodgers.
They still have a good roster without him.
Yeah.
So when I went through my predictions, I really wanted to pick the Jets. I think the Jets are good. Zach Wilson, I think, will be fine. But the Jets have not beat the Patriots since 2015, so I think that's going to stay a theme, and I think the Patriots win a close game.
New England hasn't looked bad in their 2 losses. I think Mac Jones has looked a lot better than he did last year under Joe Judge and Matt Patricia. Give me New England. They'll get their first one of the year.
All right. Wow, surprised we actually had that many people taking the Patriots, but we did. All right, we got the potentially Anthony Richardson list. Is he going to be ready for this game or not? Anyone know?
He's
questionable
questionable.
right now.
Okay, so we'll see. The potentially Anthony Richardson list. Then it's Gardner Minshew, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Minshew mania.
Yep.
And the Colts taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Give me the Ravens here.
Yeah, I don't think the Colts can stop the Ravens here. Give me the Ravens.
So the Colts are my second favorite team beyond the Vikings, obviously. I think if Anthony Richardson was certain to play, I'd take the Colts, but just because there's that question mark, I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Even if Anthony Richardson plays or not, Baltimore's too much.
The Ravens are just better in pretty much every way, shape, and form. All right, we got the Chargers and the Vikings. Some of you have voiced your opinion, some have not. I am going to make you guys not like me anymore. Give me the Chargers on the road. They're going to find a way to win this game. They're going to send the Vikings to 0-3.
Sorry, the Vikings are going to beat this, Joel. But
I'd love to be wrong.
I hope you're wrong on that, Joel.
I would love to be wrong.
Joel.
I would love to be wrong.
Oh, yeah, give me the Vikings and probably a one-score game. I mean,
Joel, this is the first time we differed all day.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
I haven't even noticed. I've just noticed because Big Lou goes after me. So all right. He probably took the Vikings as well because that's what he does. I hope he watches that and sees that I just said that. We got the Bears and the Chiefs. This is going to be unanimous. I'm just going to write it in.
Oh, yeah.
Yep,
Chiefs all across the board.
Whoa, what did I do?
Chiefs.
Why are you back in double D?
Let me figure out how to get back.
On the bottom, you can use the, like...
Oh, I can just type it.
Yeah, that too.
A1. All right, we are back. That was wild. I don't know how that just happened, you guys.
Chiefs. Yep.
And yeah, he took Kansas City as well. All right, we got the Panthers and the Seahawks. The Panthers, I wasn't really watching their Monday night game against the Saints, so I guess I can't speak on how well they played. Seahawks took a victory over the Lions. Give me the Seattle Seahawks at home in this one.
So, let's see. Panthers are 0-2, and I think they're due for a bit of an upset win here.
Respect it.
As much as I want to pick the Panthers, I think the tiebreaker here is the Seahawks being at home playing in that stadium is going to be very loud, especially when you have a rookie quarterback in Bryce Young. Give me the Seahawks.
I did watch the Monday night game. The Panthers are my second favorite team behind the Vikings. Bryce Young is just, well, it's in his name. He's young. He's got a lot of learning to do. Offense didn't look great. Defense continues to look impressive. Very underrated unit, but give me Seattle. Geno Smith and DK Metcalf going to have a field day.
All right, we've got the Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals. This one is more than likely going to be unanimous as well. We're all probably going to go with Cowboys.
I like the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
Yep, I figured that was going to happen.
I think Arizona's going to shock the world and score a touchdown.
That's stretching it. Even that's a push.
Yeah, I feel like
Here's
the
the Cardinals.
Cowboys are probably going to be like up at what are they 70-10 right now outscoring their opponents. They'll probably be at over 100 to maybe 13 by the end of this. Points for versus against.
That would be actually like crazy. That big of a point differential this early in the season. All right, we got the Steelers and the Raiders on Sunday nights. I don't really have any logic behind this. I'm just feeling a Pittsburgh win here.
Steelers, Raiders. I think Josh Jacobs will finally have a good game. Give me the Raiders.
I like the Steelers in this one. I think they continue their winning streak here to 2.
Give me the Raiders. Jimmy Garoppolo. He's so handsome. You'll have a good day.
He'll distract the defense just by looking at him.
Exactly.
All right, now we got our Monday night doubleheader. The Philadelphia Eagles are headed into Tampa to face the Bucs. Give me the Eagles. They're better in pretty much every way, shape, and form.
Oh, yeah, give me the Eagles here.
I think this game will be closer than a lot of people expect, but I think Eagles do pull it out in the end.
Yeah, give me the Eagles.
All right. With that said, we've got our final one. The Rams are taking on the Bengals. The Rams have actually looked decent this year. The Bengals are 0-2 so far. Joe Burrow has not looked like the same Joe Burrow we know and love very much. On paper, you'd think the Rams are like better in a way just by looking at how this season has gone. Give me Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals to get their first win of the season. They're now falling to 0-3.
Joel, I got to argue with you there. I think the Cincinnati Bengals have been looking not great, and even with them paying Burrow more, he's not going to get it done. He's going to drop to 0-3.
So Joe Burrow is questionable for this game as of right now. He's questionable with the calf injury, so I think he'll probably still play. But I don't think Bengals will fall to 0-3 either. Give me Cincinnati.
All right.
Puka, whatever your last name is, he's not a flash in the pan. He's going to be a good receiver for this team, a good second option when Cooper Kupp comes back. I wouldn't say we all love Joe Burrow. That's a little bit of a stretch. Females do. But
I love Joe Burrow. I'll just go out and say it. I love Joe Burrow. You love Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I love Joe Burrow too. He was so fun to watch.
Joe Burrow?
I know someone else who loves Joe Burrow, Sam O'Brien.
He said he does not love Joe Burrow.
Give me the Rams.
All right. Oh, I just wrote that in the wrong one. All right, so LAR. So I just went on another tab and looked up something interesting. Do you guys know who the Bengals backup quarterback is?
Jake Browning.
Yep. The Vikings legend Jake Browning
But
will be the
what was that?
quarterback.
Night practice training camp legend.
If Joe
Jake
Burr
Browning.
can't go, it will be Jake Browning in under center. So with that said, folks, that is our predictions. That is our game picks. And that is, think about all we have. I will stop sharing. Anyone else got anything to share before we close out today's episode? Matt, your predictions last week were still bad.
I mean, you got to rebound. You got to rebound.
You got to rebound too. It's not just me. It's not my fault I went 8 for 16. So yeah, we'll be back again next week. Since I'm not going to be watching the game, it might be tougher for me to talk about it. Same with Big Lou too, but I guess I don't know for sure. But we'll see. Once we have resolution, I'll throw out a community post.
Yeah, I'll probably watch the highlights and look at the stats a little bit. But...
Yeah, I'll do that too, but it's just sometimes it's just not always the same as being able to actually watch it. So we'll see. We'll be communicative, if that's a word, with you guys. Otherwise, we'll see you sometime in the future. Who knows what people are even going to be on screen because it's a rotating cast every week now. Technically, it's not, but that's just kind of how it's probably going to be. We're all college students. We're busy boys.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. With that said, unless anyone else has last thoughts, I'm going to sign us out.
No, all good.
Justin Fields will never be a cover athlete.
I agree.
Maybe on like if there's a toilet bowl Madden.
You got me there.
Mitch would be on that one.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that?
No.
Mitch Trubisky would be on that one.
Mitch Trubisky would be on the toilet bowl. He is a Nickelodeon MVP. Give him his props.
Mm-hmm. All right, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching today's podcast episode. Again, like said, we might be back next week, but we'll just have to see. Follow the social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and check out the community post here, and we will let you guys know what we're thinking. Otherwise, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. Click that like button. Drop a comment if you enjoyed. We will see you guys sometime soon. And as always, SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings.
All right, we will see you guys soon.